All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Juan Carlos Lopez. Welcome to our webinar today. As we get situated, please feel comfortable to ask any questions that you may have. We want to make sure that we do a good job for you getting your information to make sure that you understand what the natural science is all about. At the same time, we want to welcome all of you who have been admitted to our campus. We hope that you consider becoming a Bobcat as this is a family of people here. You're going to find out this is a good place for a lot of you because we're such a small campus. I'm going to start by introducing you with Michael, and go ahead and get started. I'm going to move out of the way so you could get going.
Fantastic. Thanks, Juan. And good evening to everyone who's joining us on the webinar. We're very excited to tell you about the School of Natural Sciences and all the fantastic options you're going to have if you come here to UC Merced and become a Bobcat. So I'll start very quickly by introducing myself. I'll show you some slides and talk about some of the things that I think make UC Merced really special. And then I'm going to hand it over to a faculty panel that will talk about their specific programs in chemistry, in biological sciences, and applied math, and all those other really cool areas that you can come here and study in Merced. Okay. Then we'll hear a little bit from one of our amazing advisors, Erica. She'll tell you a little bit about what it's like to be here and all the support we can give you as a new Bobcat. And then at the end, I want to just throw open to any questions that you have. If you're not sure, there is a Q&A at the bottom of the screen in the Zoom panel. That's where you can enter questions, and feel free to enter them as they come up, as they enter your head, and the faculty and I will attempt to answer them as we go along during the presentation. Okay, so with that. I'll just introduce myself again. My name is Michael Findlater. I'm currently the Dean of the School of Natural Sciences. In my day job, I'm also a chemistry professor. I'm excited to go back to that job at the end of this year as we're going to recruit a new dean who's going to start this fall. Okay. As you may have guessed from my accent, I'm not from the US originally, but I've lived here for a couple of decades now. I'm originally from Scotland and I moved here 23 years ago. And my family now make fun of me for sounding American. So with that, I'm going to get started. So if you can't understand anything I'm going to say, that's my accent. So pop a question in the chat, okay? So again, welcome. We're going to talk specifically now, not just about how amazing UC Merced is in general, but specifically about the School of Natural Sciences and all the amazing options that you have here. So we're going to get into some detail about the programs. If you want to be a chemistry major, if you want to be a biological sciences major, if you want to be an applied math major or a physics major, we'll talk about that in just a second. But I thought it was important to start a little bit with one of the things that I think makes us as a campus and as a School of Natural Sciences really, really special. And what that is our phenomenal research. Okay. Yes, and we have a panel of faculty here tonight who are all, in addition to being excellent educators, fantastic researchers too. Okay. And again, if you want to learn about what any of them do, again, feel free to pop it in the chat. One thing about professors is that they're never shy about telling you about all the cool research that they're doing. Okay. So what I want to do is sort of give you an example, a few examples of some of the really cool stuff we're doing here on campus. All right. So with that, if you look at the upper left, you'll see someone holding some vials of some colorful material. This is work going on in the chemistry department in Ryan Baxter. He's a professor of chemistry in his lab. And what he's doing is he's making organic molecules that will actually emit light under certain circumstances. And as an application of that, he can actually use them when growing plants inside a greenhouse. He can actually tune the color of light that lands on the plant, and that will actually change some of the properties that the plant exhibits when it grows under those lights. Okay. In just to the middle and to the right of that chemistry slide, you'll see some sort of blurry images, and then hopefully some non-blurry images. This is actually research work being done in our physics department, where we can take a combination of both low resolution and high resolution observations of galaxies. And then using AI, we can deconvolute those images to really get much sharper representations, images of those galaxies. If we step one farther over, you'll see this kind of pinkish green imagery right there. You're actually looking at a picture of a fly's brain. Okay, this is Drosophila. This is a model organism that's typically used in a lot of biological labs. And we're imaging dehydrated flies. And so we can see what impacts being dehydrated have on the fly's brain. And then hopefully from that, we can then learn a little bit about the kinds of things that might happen when humans undergo stress and are dehydrated and what might happen to their brains. Okay. Now, back in the bottom left, you'll see in the greenhouse again, one of our faculty, Emily Moran, working directly with a student in the greenhouse to monitor some of these soil samples that they're having. And then we move one farther over to the bottom middle, and you'll see a group of students and a faculty member being pictured at Yosemite National Park. So we are very lucky here at Merced to be located pretty close to Yosemite. It's just a quick hour and a half drive away. And we actually have a lot of active research that goes on between UC Merced and the national park. And this is just one example of one of our researchers who will frequently take students up to Yosemite and do field work at Yosemite National Park. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a TED Talk. This is one of our esteemed faculty members, Asmarit Berhe. Asmarit is a member of the National Academy of Engineering, one of two National Academy of Engineering faculty we have on campus. And this is actually one of the most watched still TED Talks. And what Asmarit explores is a whole variety of different issues related to soil and carbon sequestration in soil. I want to pause here for just 1 second to just mention that all of these faculty, whether it's Fred Wolf in our molecular and cell biology department looking at fly chemistry, fly imaging, whether it's Gillian Wilson in physics looking at this AI deconvolution, or whether it's Asmarit, truly are world-class faculty who could be on any campus at any UC or any university in the nation. And Asmarit in particular is a real superstar for us. She was nominated by the president, President Biden in this case, and confirmed by the Senate to run the Department of Energy's Office of Science. This is a multi-billion-dollar federal funding research agency, and she just recently came back to campus to sort of, bring back that incredible honor, but also that incredible knowledge and expertise and insight that she gained while working in DC back to UC Merced's campus. And then finally, I'm going to end. Hopefully, it will show up here as a video. One of our newer faculty, an assistant professor in our school, actually looks at pollinators. She looks at solitary bees, and what she can do is she can predict, hopefully, which flowers bees will prefer to pollinate with in our greenhouse. And hopefully this video will work. It's just a few seconds long. But what she'll do is she'll actually tag bees. You see that little white tag on the back of the bee? So we'll tag the bee, and then using cameras set up inside the greenhouse, can actually monitor where the bees are flying in the greenhouse and then figure out which flowers, which plants they're preferentially flying to under certain environmental conditions. And so that can actually help us in the Central Valley, where agriculture is such a huge component of not only the state, but also the entire nation's economy. So you might be wondering why, why it is that I spent all this time talking about research when you're all coming in, hopefully, fingers crossed, as freshmen to take classes and learn from all these amazing educators. And the reason I take the time to talk about the research aspect of things is that not only do we have world-class researchers on our campus, not only do we have world-class educators on our campus, but you will have an opportunity to do that as well. Okay. So We have, I think the last time we checked on the numbers, we have 82% of all of our graduating seniors in the School of Natural Sciences have done research directly in the labs with these phenomenal world-class research faculty. Okay, so you're not going to come here and just sit in a class and listen to lectures. Okay, although that's also important, and you will do that. I hope, no skipping classes, but you will come here, you will go to class, but you will also have this really rare opportunity. As Juan mentioned during the introduction, we are a small campus, and one of the real, gems of coming here to UC Merced is that all of you will have multiple opportunities to work side by side with this absolute stellar cast of phenomenal research faculty conducting cutting edge research in chemistry, in biology, in physics, in applied math. Okay. So there are many opportunities for you to engage outside of the classroom that really would not be available to you or would be really limited on perhaps larger campuses where you won't have that connection with the faculty from the classroom into the lab, into the research space. Now, with that being said, I do want to make sure that I'm able to turn over and give lots of time for our amazing faculty who are on this call to talk a little bit about some of the amazing opportunities we have in all these different areas. So I'm gonna stop talking. I'll mute myself, except just to introduce. I think Rosemary Bongers is going to kick us off talking about applied math and data science. And so I'll invite the faculty sort of in sequence here to sort of unmute themselves and talk a little bit about their programs. Again, if any questions come up during this, or if you have questions for me about overall stuff or related to research, please pop them in the Q&A and I'll do my best to answer them. So I'll stop talking now and turn it over to the faculty.
All right, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Rosemary Bongers. I am an assistant teaching professor in the Applied Math department, and I'm also the chair of our data science and computing program. So I'm really excited to tell you about both of these programs. So my home department is applied math. So I teach a lot of math courses like calculus and statistics. And especially if you have a science major at UC Merced, you'll take courses either from me or from my colleagues. So we do some really cool work in the math department. We have a lot of research going on. We have a lot of different tracks. Our program is built around the idea that we're not just doing math for the sake of doing math. We're doing it so that we can apply it to real world problems. So you'll see on the slide that there's all these different emphasis tracks. So one of my colleagues and friends, Suzanne Fernandez Cindy, does a lot of computational biology work that has some really cool applications. There's faculty in our department who work on energy and the environment, the distribution of power in electrical grids. There's people that study how corals pulse. It's really an amazing variety of things that people are working on. And we have a lot of undergraduate students who work on research with us. I've supervised a student myself. So throughout the applied math program, students work on learning the theoretical foundations of applied math. So courses in calculus and statistics and linear algebra. And then they go on and take upper division electives, including numerical analysis, the sort of computational courses that someone needs to do modern applied math, especially with large scale computing. And each of our emphasis tracks is built around a specific application to a particular area. So students that come out of the applied math program really have a skill set that can be applied across a huge number of disciplines. And the real benefit from an education at UC Merced is the ability to not just work in one area, but to be truly interdisciplinary, to work in a way that actually applies the knowledge to real world problems. And that's actually the same as the data science and computing program. So this is a pretty new program. It is only a couple of years old. We're going to be graduating our first crop of students soon, and it's exciting. It's growing quickly. So again, it's built around emphasis tracks. So students that take a data science and computing major Do about one-third math and stats, so a lot of courses from the applied math department, about one-third courses in programming and computing, and one-third of their program is in some disciplinary area. So biology, chemistry, environment, physics, material science. There's a bunch of different areas that people focus on. So students come out of the program really ready to be scientists, not just to do programming, not just to do statistics, but to be actual working scientists, designing experiments, running them, collecting data, analyzing data. And that sort of scientific reasoning is so incredibly important right now, especially as, AI becomes a big thing and the economy really, really changes. We also, for data science and computing, have an option to design a custom emphasis. So if you're interested in being a scientist who uses data to solve real world problems and you want to do something that's not on this list, you have the ability to do that too. We have students who are focusing in areas related to economics and public health, and we have a lot of students who are interested in other areas that are related to pretty much any program at UC Merced. So it's a really exciting program. It's growing quickly. And if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, thanks, Rose. I'm Professor Christine Isborn. I'm the chair of the chemistry and biochemistry department, and that houses two different majors within the School of Natural Sciences. So the biochemistry major is a brand new major that just launched this year at UC Merced to a lot of students coming into the program. So it's been wildly successful in year one. And so we don't have a lot of emphasis tracks there that you can see, but I think what's really exciting about the pre-pharmacy track is that we've teamed up with UCSF so that students who complete that pre-pharmacy track get an interview at the pharmacy school at UCSF. So if you're interested in pharmacy work, that's a really excellent track for you. Of course, biochemistry majors lead to a lot of different kinds of health and medical research and medical programs and sets you up for success there with all of the lab skills, the hands-on lab skills that you gain with one of these lab-based majors. And the chemistry major has a lot of the same curriculum as the biochemistry major in years 1 and 2 when you're doing your lower division coursework. They're pretty similar. The chemistry major has a little bit more math in it because you need those math courses that Rosemary was just speaking about in order to do some of your upper division science that you do in the chemistry program. So the quantum mechanics and the thermodynamics that you do in the chemistry major that requires those math classes. And so in chemistry, it's a little bit broader in that you can go more in the direction of engineering and materials, environmental science. And so you can choose one of those tracks that's more aligned with your interests, or you can just stick with chemistry and get that solid central science track that connects to a lot of other fields. And I want to point out that we also did a webinar for those interested in the biochemistry and chemistry majors just last night, and it's going to show up online, the same web page that has a list of all the different webinars UC Merced's offering. There'll be a recording that you can go see. And one of the things that we really highlighted there that's unique about UC Merced is the ways that we set you up for success in the challenging courses that are part of a natural science major. The classes are hard. You have a lot of work to do, but we really give you what you need to succeed. And one of the things that's very unique about UC Merced is our use of learning assistants in those big lower division classes. We have peers. So these are students who were in those classes just a year or two ago who are in the class with you, answering questions. People are doing a lot of active learning and problem solving in the classes, in the discussion sections. And these students are there helping you because the teacher can't get in there and talk to all the students in the class. But then we have students in the class with you, helping you every step of the way to help you succeed in these classes. And I think that's one of the things that's really special about UC Merced for helping people succeed in the classes, but also building this sense of community where we are invested in helping you here. And then that helps students, once they're on the other side, they get excited about contributing to others, about being a learning assistant in the class and sharing what they've learned with other students who need that support. So I think that's one of the special things about UC Merced. And if you're interested in the learning assistant, kind of how we incorporate them in the classes, that's also discussed quite a bit in that webinar where we had 3 learning assistants talking about what they do in the class.
Hi, my name's Justin Yeakel. I'm the chair of the biology program right now, and I'm in the Life and Environmental Sciences department. Biology is the biggest major on campus at the moment, and there's a number of different components to it. First of all, it's unique in that there's 2 major departments that feed into biological sciences. Life and environmental sciences, which really deals with organismal biology, things that you can see with the naked eye, and animals, animal interactions, plants, fungi. And then the other major department that supports the biology program is molecular and cellular biology. And of course, they deal with all sorts of cool science, that involves cellular biology, immunology, how our immune systems function, epidemiology, microbiology, all sorts of really interesting stuff. And so the biology major is large, and we have a number of different emphasis tracks, and you can see those listed below, from developmental biology. We have a general biology track, which is very flexible. We have a BS and BA. I'm listing the emphasis tracks in the BS right now. The general biology track is our most flexible. Our most popular track is human biology, because people tend to think that that's the one route into medical school. And a lot of folks come into this wanting to be medical doctors. One thing that's really important to know, though, is that all of our tracks are med school enabled. And they're pre-health enabled, because there's a lot of different jobs in the healthcare fields that you might be interested in exploring. But you're not limited to going to med school by just going through the human biology track. Any of the tracks are all set up for that. We just added an education track, and I'll let those who know more about the education tracks in general speak to that towards the end. We also recently added the biological sciences BA, and so this is really designed for maximum flexibility. It's designed for folks who might really enjoy biology, but might not be as excited about chemistry. And so there's different ways of being a biologist where chemistry is less emphasized. There are certainly other ways of being a biologist where chemistry is very emphasized and front and center. Another really unique thing about our program is that we've built this introductory biology series, so that no matter what branch of biology that you go into, all of the incoming students take our introductory biology series. And following chemistry's model, we also use the LA structure. So students who have taken that course and succeeded and done well in that course are now helping other students get through those courses. So by going through this introductory series, you really have this cohort of students that you come in with, all taking it at the same time, all struggling through the same difficult topics together, and celebrating succeeding through those topics together. And so that's really important, because the cohort you build when you come into a university is really important. That's your support structure for making it through the upper division courses later on. So the other major that I'm representing and happy to answer questions on is the Ecology, Evolution, and Conservation Biology BS, which is relatively new. We're basically entering the second year. This is also a program that is pre-health enabled. It has a pre-health track where all of the courses that you take prepare you to go to med school later on, if that's what you want to do. Now, this major is really focused on organismal biology, from ecology, evolution, conservation biology, wildlife management, getting out on the ground. We have courses that take you out into the field where you really learn on the ground tools and techniques for dealing with some of our biggest challenges moving into the 21st century. So with that, I'll pass it along.
Hi, everyone. Glad to meet you all in this webinar and happy to answer any questions. My name is Becca Riles, and I am also an associate professor in the Department of Life and Environmental Sciences, like Justin Yeagle. And I'm currently the chair of the major called Environmental Systems Science here at UC Merced. And this major is really all about understanding how our planet works as one interconnected system. So you're taking advantage of many of the excellent classes across SNS and across campus, and you're really working to understand how they all fit together to solve real-world problems, problems that shape your future, like climate change, sustainability, water scarcity, and so on. Those are not small problems, and the major, even though is small in numbers, it really is tackling these big challenges and providing you with the tools to solve them. One of the things that makes the major unique is, as the dean was talking about at the beginning, is that our major doesn't stop in the classroom. It doesn't really have contained walls all the time. And very early on in the major, you'll have hands-on experiences in many different ways. That includes kind of more traditional labs, but it also includes doing research alongside faculty. That's actually a requirement of all students in the major. So you get a chance to work in labs. We also have students that take advantage of other resources across campus to do undergraduate research. And many of our students are on scientific publications. Many of them go to conferences and get that full experience of doing research in this field. In addition to doing that research in the lab, we take advantage of our amazing ecosystems all across California, including those right on our campus. We have some unique ecosystems right on campus, including the Vernal Pool and Grassland Reserve, which is one of the largest intact vernal pool systems in the state, in the country even. And we have a brand new research and education center that just opened its doors last week to do even more education out in the field. We also have a relatively new experimental smart farm where you can use sensors and data and ecological tools to understand food systems better. And then we also take advantage of our field station in Yosemite and many other amazing ecosystems that are just a short drive from campus. The major itself is pretty flexible. There are 3 emphasis tracks: Earth and Climate Science, Ecosystem Science, and Education. They're pretty adaptable. You all start together in the major, and really the emphasis diverge in the upper level requirements that differ a little bit on their emphasis towards more kind of geology and climate change versus more ecosystem ecology and a little bit more conservation too. There's lots of overlap with the EECB major in that respect. But it's pretty adaptable. We have amazing advisors, which I think you'll hear from, to help you along your path as well. This interdisciplinary major is designed not only to give you new knowledge, but really a diverse toolkit that includes that interdisciplinary knowledge and practical skills so that you can understand how to design research questions, how to tackle very challenging problems, and how to design those solutions. And so if you're interested in sustainability, if you're interested in climate change, if you're interested in past climate, all of those things are present in this major. Our students go on to careers in pretty diverse fields in sustainability, conservation, environmental policy, agriculture, and many of our students actually go on to graduate school because of their experience with research within the major. So I hope to see you all in the fall, and happy to answer any questions, and I'll pass it along to Jay.
Hi there. Yes, my name is Jay Sharping. I'm the chair of the physics department. And I guess what I'd like to encourage folks who are maybe they just really enjoy all of the majors that they've already heard about. Physics is one that you might want to consider because in some ways physics allows you to explore each of these things at sort of maybe a higher level, a modeling level, to try to simplify each of the chemistry, biology, environmental problems into maybe a simplified model that gives you enough information that you can make predictions, but doesn't overcomplicate things and makes good use of applied mathematics. So it's a surprisingly adaptable major. You can see the emphasis tracks there. I am mostly aligned with the quantum science and technology emphasis track. So I do quantum optics. I have a laser research lab, and currently about 9 undergraduates who are doing various experiments there, learning how to safely work with the equipment and try to look at individual photons, which is surprisingly challenging. The physics undergraduates go on to graduate school, but also into a variety of interesting jobs. Last week's physics webinar was a panel with a set of people who are graduates, and there was one who works as a lighting designer, one who is working at Los Alamos National Laboratory, and another one who works at a cryogenics company selling equipment for low temperature physics. So the physics major is quite adaptable, and I'm at your service if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea Arnold. I'm the program director for CalTeach here on campus, and we help oversee the natural sciences education minor. So this is actually a really cool minor here on campus. And you can see from all of your majors here in SNS, there is education emphasis tracks. So this is actually really cool in that you can be an applied math major, for example, with an education emphasis track, and add the natural sciences education minor or the option with the teaching credential. And you can have some of those courses will double count. So it kind of speeds you up and fast tracks you to a teaching credential if that's your goal. We have 2 different minors. One of the minors is basically you start out doing fieldwork out in the local schools. You learn all of your teaching pedagogy, how to teach science or math. You're taught by faculty who have experience in K-12 education, as well as theory. And the upper division classes are actually counting towards a post-bac teaching credential if you decide to go to one of our partner programs, which includes the UC Merced teacher prep program. So it's kind of a seamless pathway. So if education is your goal, picking up one of these minors is going to help fast track you there. Now, the regular natural sciences education minor will actually take $8,500 off the cost of a teaching credential post-bac. They will take 12 units of your minor and apply it directly towards your teaching credential. And then that allows you to graduate and get your teaching credential in a summer and a semester. So that's super cool, big cost savings. The other option is the natural sciences education minor plus the teaching credential. So this one's actually a joint program with UC Berkeley. You are able to get your major, so in one of the STEM fields here, and your math or science credential at the same time. So with this joint program with Berkeley, you take a few courses online with UC Berkeley. Your bachelor's degree will come from UC Merced. Your minor will come from UC Merced. Your recommendation for your California teaching credential will come from UC Berkeley. So that's a really cool option for everybody. And best news yet is that you're able to actually get this done within the 4 years that you're here. So by combining your major education emphasis track and this undergraduate teaching credential program, you're able to graduate in your 4 years with that teaching credential and go right out into the workforce. So those are our 2 really cool options. The CalTeach program here on campus is also here to support anybody who's interested in careers in education, school counseling, anything that has to do with education. We are here. We have dedicated advisors that are always willing to speak with you about the pathways, questions that you might have, kind of like what are your next steps getting into a credential program. Students in our minor, we will also help with any kind of test prep that you may do. The really cool thing in the state of California right now is that your degree, if your degree matches the name of your credential, so if you're a biology major getting a biology credential, you do not have to take any tests anymore in the state of California. So that's a really cool thing, and we can help you navigate all of that in that pathway to becoming a teacher. The other option that we have with the CalTeach program are internships. We have a number of paid internships that you can get involved with, regardless of whether you're in the minor or not. You're able to actually tutor out in the local schools and get paid to do that. So elementary and middle school. We also have options in our K-12 outreach lab on campus. The CalTeach Learning Lab is a dedicated K-12 outreach lab. We bring K-12 students to campus every Tuesday and Thursday, and undergraduate students in internships get to learn how to teach students. So you do informal science education, some STEM activities every Tuesday and Thursday, and get to practice those skills and build that teacher identity. So it's a great place to start too if you're just thinking, hey, I don't know if I want to be a teacher or not. But I really like science and I really like teaching, so maybe I could try it. Jumping into one of those internships, you get paid, you have a lot of fun, and we're happy to help you navigate that as well. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer any of those. And especially if you have questions about the education emphasis tracks too, I can help with that.
Fantastic, everyone. Thank you so much for describing these amazing opportunities in these different majors and programs. I'm going to move on to the next slide now. And so I've turned things over now to our fantastic advising team member, Erica Robbins. She can talk to you a little bit about some of the support structures we have in place. And Erica, since I'm controlling the slides, when you want to change, just let me know and I'll click on to the next slide.
Will do. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Robbins. I'm the Director of Student Services in the School of Natural Sciences, and I'm also the Transfer Student Academic Advisor. So I'm happy to answer any questions about transfer advising as well. So we have a variety of student success programs in our school that we're really proud of because we want students to be successful while they're here, but also prepare you for whatever that next step is, whether you're headed towards medical school, graduate school, or you want to go directly into industry and get a job. We want to make sure that when you walk across the stage, you're ready for that next step, no matter what it is. So we start out with that first year. There is specialized first year advising offered in the Bobcat Advising Center, and all of the academic advisors on campus work very closely to make sure that there is a seamless experience for students. So for first year students, coming in as freshmen, you'll be assigned to an academic advisor in the BAC who's going to help you throughout that first year, manage those transitions, make sure you're taking the right classes for your intended major, help you change a major if need be, but also get you connected with other resources on campus. There's also academic advising in our school, which I supervise, and I'm part of the team. So our advisors are divided up by major. And so once you come into the school, you're going to be assigned one person who is an expert in that major. And we will stay with you as long as you're in our major and help you again graduate. So like I mentioned, I advise all the transfer students. And so I'm already working on transfer student evaluations, getting ready to help you get registered in June and make sure that you're maximizing all of that transfer credit so you are hitting the ground running when you come to campus in August. Pre-health advising is also in our suites, our literal suites of offices. And so there is support for students intending careers in healthcare. So medicine, dental, pharmacy, veterinary, physician assistant, nursing, anything health related. So they will help you identify kind of your strengths, what career might be a good fit for you, and help you make sure that you're taking the right classes, get you connected with resources, and then think about the things outside of classes that need to be done to make you a competitive applicant. So when you're, again, ready to submit that application, you've got the most competitive application you possibly can. Our Excel program is an academic coaching program on our campus, and we were the first to have one. And so this program is specifically designed for students who might be struggling with that transition from high school or community college into the university, or maybe you just had a bad semester. We have the academic coaches available to help students, figure out what went wrong and what can the university do to help support you. So whether that's referrals to tutoring services, thinking about time management, test taking strategies, and getting, again, connected with other campus resources that can help you do better. We like to share too that classes in the sciences are highly sequential. So the information you're learning in those intro classes is just going to get built upon. So we really want to make sure that you're mastering the contents and concepts so that when you're in Chem 2, you do well because it comes back around in Chem 10, and then organic is a whole other thing. So we want to make sure that you're set up for success. That's why we have the STEM Center and the STEM Tutoring Hub. So there are peer tutors available for subjects that you're going to take. If you're majoring in any of our programs, you're going to be taking a variety of classes from the programs you've already heard about. So if you're a chemistry major, you're going to be taking math, you're going to be taking biology, you're going to be taking physics, you're going to be taking data science, and you're going to be taking calculus. So it's really important, again, to build that strong foundation, take advantage of tutoring services. We've talked a little bit about the learning assistants too, but the STEM Center is another place to get additional support, but then also learn about research opportunities. If there's an undergraduate research opportunity on our campus, or if you're looking outside of campus for a summer internship somewhere else, the staff there can help you identify where those might be and help you with your application as well. All right, next slide, please. So again, we talked about preparing for that next step, whatever it may be. So we have a very good student career center that we work very closely with in our office. And so we have a designated career specialist for the School of Natural Sciences, and he is in our office once a week doing just drop-ins, but you can also make an appointment with him during other times. So they also support on-campus employment, internships. So if we hear about an internship, like the faculty will send us stuff, we share it with our colleagues in the Student Career Center to make sure that there's one place that students can go and find internships. But they also help you prepare for those internships and those on-campus jobs by offering resume, cover letter, and interviewing skills sessions. So it's maybe a one-on-one, or they have massive workshops to help with your resume, or you can actually make a one-on-one appointment. There's also the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center, or UROC for short. So the faculty have talked a lot about the various ways to get involved into research. UROC is another one of those centralized locations where students can go online. They have a variety of supported programs that students can apply to, many of which will pay you money, dollars, to actually conduct research, starting in the summer and then continuing through the academic year. So it's amazing opportunities with tremendous faculty. If you're interested in politics, there's also opportunities to take that outside of California. There is a UC-DC program, so it's UC-wide, and you can go to Washington, D.C. for a semester, you take classes, and you're interning in a political or a government office. So another opportunity where if you want to blend in your interest in science with maybe science policy or legal or politics, if you have an interest, you could do a political science major as well, or a minor. This is another opportunity to get out of the classroom and apply those skills. And then finally, study abroad. Yes, you can study abroad as a natural sciences major. It is possible with planning. And so the study abroad office will assist students in identifying what programs, what countries, what universities would be a good fit for your major, depending on what your goals are. We've had students go abroad and do physics in an entire summer in the UK. I wanted to do that, but that's okay. I didn't get to go. Or if you just want to go to Italy and study art, there's opportunities where you can go and do those things. And again, we want to make sure that we carefully plan so that we can include that into your schedule so you can still graduate on time, or maybe it's just one extra semester. Again, all of these opportunities so that you can really maximize your time at UC Merced, and again, be prepared for whatever that next step may be. All right, so I think now we're going to take questions.
Yeah, thanks, Erica. Again, I just want to say a huge thank you to you all for coming. Please, we still have some time left, so if you want to have a question answered, drop it in the Q&A, and maybe we can actually try answering them live rather than like, typing them out. I'm not always the best typer on these things. I'll second Erica's idea that it will require careful planning, but of course, if you want to study abroad, that's an amazing opportunity. I'd recommend going to Scotland. It's a great country if you want to go study abroad. So with that, I'll stop my jibber jabber. I'll go back a few slides and I'll just leave up those programs, those majors and minors just as a prompt if you have more questions that come up. And otherwise, we'll do our best to answer in the Q&A, or if we see a good one, maybe we can answer it. If someone wants to unmute themselves and answer it live, that would be great too. So again, thanks everyone for participating tonight. Feel free to stay, answer questions, hear questions being answered. Thanks.
I got a question for all of you, or especially Erica Robbins. The question is, as a transfer student, can I pick up a minor?
Yes. Again, it comes back to planning. So we offer more than just the two natural sciences minors. There's minors in applied math, chemistry, data science and computing, and physics. So it is possible to pick a, depending on your major, pick up a minor in our school, or there's a variety of minors in the School of Social Sciences, and then some in engineering too. So yeah, we would have a conversation about what you're interested in, and then see how it could fit together.
Has there ever been a biology study abroad program?
I know that there are multiple programs that offer a lot of courses related to the biological sciences major. So I'm trying to remember them all. There's one in South Korea. There's one in the Netherlands. Oh, gosh, I cannot remember them all. But again, the study abroad office is going to be the best resource there. But there's definitely some programs that will have more opportunities for taking courses towards the bio major. But like I said, too, there's an opportunity to do your year's worth of physics in a summer in the UK. That would be my vote, but I'm biased.
That's good.
I see one, Juan, from Esmeralda, asking about other UCSF opportunities. So interestingly, we're about to sign a memorandum of understanding with UCSF that will be a direct pathway from an undergraduate at UC Merced into a master's program in their global health program there. And there'll be reserved spots specifically for UC Merced students. I think up to 5 or 6 a year, potentially more. We're kind of piloting it right now. So we're very good at working with many of our local and state partners into making sure that you can really maximize what you do here on our campus into these amazing opportunities in other fantastic places like UCSF.
That's awesome. So how fast can a student coming to Merced start on research? Or how soon?
I don't want to monopolize, so I'll let one of the other faculty jump in to answer that.
I can answer it for the ESS program. We encourage our students to try to make that connection as soon as possible. It is a requirement for our major. The easiest way to get involved with research with a faculty member across all majors is to take a class with them first and really understand what their style is and what their research priorities are. And so the process looks a little bit different for everyone. I would say most students in our major on average are really in their second or third year getting involved in research, and we try to encourage that as soon as possible. And then I think Erica mentioned UROC, or maybe Chelsea mentioned UROC, the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center. They have a lot of really great resources for getting started. And then we also have a program called Field Curious, which is not a full-on research opportunity, but it provides kind of the first taste of field research in particular. Students actually get paid to participate in that, and it's a weekend trip up to Yosemite and in our vernal pool system where you get to experience hands-on field research for the first time, because a lot of students, especially early on, don't have that experience at all. And so it's meant to break down that barrier so that you can learn if that's something that you want to pursue. So there's, in addition to doing like research units or independent research with a faculty member, there's also programs that help that experience happen as early as possible.
And with that kind of an answer, so here's a question from a student is asking, what major or pathways recommended for a career in laboratory research?
I think all of these majors have, lab components to them. So those are going to be particular to what, research area someone's interested in. So you're going to get more specialized lab training the further you go up in your courses. So when you get to those upper division courses, you're really going to be learning specific techniques and working with high level instrumentation. And then you'll get a nice broad base with your lower division lab courses. So I think kind of depends on what you want to specialize in, but there's a very large lab component across the School of Natural Sciences. And then I also want to add on to what Becca was talking about research. It can be kind of dependent on what area you're most excited about. I've polled all the chemistry and biochemistry faculty. Some are most excited to work with freshmen because they want to work with you all 4 years. So they want to get you as soon as possible. Other people actually want to wait till you've had those upper division classes because they've got you working in an air sensitive glove box and they want to make sure you know what you're doing before you're handling their equipment. So it really is going to depend on your research interests. And so we just really encourage you to email the faculty directly once you're excited about a particular topic. Find out more by having a meeting with them and hearing about the research that goes on in their lab. And then they'll kind of steer you in the right direction. If their lab's not a good fit, they'll ask you about your interests and kind of try to find something that's a better fit for you.
Here's a question for all of you. Being that Merced is such a small campus, how engaged are you with your students in regards to guiding them through their educational journey?
Well, I think the fact that it is a small campus, and we have a fairly small, student to professor ratio, directly translates to, increased access, increased interactions between students and faculty, and the just ability for students to engage, and try different things that they might be interested in. Whether it's, the same thing throughout the entire 4 years, or maybe, you start your interest in one area and then it evolves and changes into something else. And so the fact that we're a tight-knit community, really increases the potential for having those types of interactions. So in that case, being part of a smaller community like that is a real strength. Whereas if you're in a gigantic university, you're just a small fish in a big pond and competing for very limited faculty time.
And I think you've answered the next question, where basically asking the professors, why did you choose to teach at UC Merced?
Same reason for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Jay Sharping in physics, and when I came, the university was opening. I interviewed at a few other places, and I realized that at some of those places, I could go and have my entire career, and people in my own department wouldn't know who I was. Whereas at UC Merced, I felt like I could get together with people in, in social sciences and engineering, natural sciences, and we could know each other's names. We could figure out ways to do research together. We could, guide students to the place where they could be most successful. And it really just felt like a green field for that, from my perspective.
And UC Merced really has a lot of young blood. We're a young university, so the age distribution of our faculty is young, is on the younger side. And every time we have new ideas or want to tackle something different or build a new program or interact with students in a different way, we don't get that response like, oh, we don't do that here, or we don't do that in this way, because everything is new. And so there's a lot of excitement and kind of a startup atmosphere in terms of like encouraging people to explore, and try different things. And you don't get that at, a place that has been around for 200 or 300 years, where faculty might have been in that department for 50, 60, 70 years, maybe not that long. But, that's just not the case here. Folks are excited about trying different things and, pushing interactions in different ways and exploring new areas of research.
Yeah, and I definitely echo that. I actually came from as faculty at another university before here, so I got a taste for what it was like at another place. And I think what attracted me to UC Merced was all the things my colleagues just said, but also this the innovative nature of everything. Like you get the answer to your questions when you want to do something new and different usually yes and not no. And it's also just a really collegial place. I saw one question was about, are the professors kind? And that matters a lot. Like your community matters a lot for your day-to-day health and well-being and your excitement for the work that you do. And I would say that's like probably one of my favorite things about being at UC Merced, the ability to talk to so many people across so many different disciplines because we're a small campus, but also there's a bunch of good people being kind and trying to do good work together. And you don't feel, power dynamic so much, it's just a really great and supportive community all the way around.
Well, sounds great. Well, we come to the end of our session. We want to thank our panel for being here tonight. All you professors were great. We want to thank our audience for showing up today and learning more about the natural science. We hope you consider Merced and becoming a Bobcat. Bobcat is a wonderful place to be with UC Merced. We hope that you come here also visit us on Saturday, our open house for Bobcat Day this coming Saturday. Please do come and enjoy and see the facilities in person. And when you get on campus, ask yourself a question. Do I like what I see, and do I see myself on this campus? I imagine that a lot of you who are thinking about the natural sciences will be a great fit for our campus because we have a great faculty that's going to help you be successful at the end of the day. We want to thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we wish you a good night. And thank you very much, everyone.